Ready.
Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola webcast. I'm David Porter. I'm here with Mike Carroll and Bill Englehart, two men who need introductions.
Well, that was it. That's all. We don't need introductions.
No, I said you do need
an
introductions.
Okay, that sounds good. That's the best. That's probably the best you've ever done right there.
Mike, so we'll introduce him. Mike, retired judge, state's attorney, artist, city attorney, land developer,
Antiquer,
antiquer. Can't keep a
writer.
job is what it sounds like to me, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. You're not going to stop now that you're going, are you?
And we call him the Great One because he demands us to.
No, I said Bill called me the Great One because of Jackie Gleason. What was that about?
I don't know. That's an old memory, isn't it?
Yeah, where'd that come from, Bull?
Where'd
that come from?
Yeah,
Where'd that come from,
I've
Bull?
called him that forever.
Bill is a retired principal at East Prairie Middle School. Was it middle school then or junior high?
No, it was elementary school.
Elementary
It was a junior high.
All right, but now they call it middle
5 through
school.
8. Yeah.
Longtime principal and former DeKalb employee, and
Drove a truck for
Willis Jolly.
Phil
Swingle.
And who are you leaving out?
Ron Smith.
No. Tuscola.
Oh, Bus Martin.
Bus Martin.
Yeah.
and Bill is one of the greatest golfers the county has ever seen.
Yeah. There you go.
There
You
you
didn't get listed, did you?
Yeah.
On that. He missed you on that.
Yeah.
Well, you can come in behind me for once.
Yeah.
I just wanted
Well,
to.
he's one of the greatest. Who are the two greatest?
We're looking at him.
Greatest is Pat King. Bill and I just tried to carry his bag.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw a little gas on a
Yeah,
fire.
Bill's a good athlete. I played basketball with Bill, great shot. And Little League, Bill and I used to duel. He pitched for the Cleveland Indians and I pitched for the Cardinals. We were both good pitchers and hitters. Long time ago.
We were.
We were pretty good.
We were pretty good pitchers.
Well, and you know, Mike
Bill,
still has. I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
Yeah, Bill's three boys wound up being great baseball players, pitchers.
Mike still has a record from high school, still on the books, as the
Rebound.
person who has dated the most girls once and didn't get a second date.
127.
Most rebounds in one game.
You know, you'd think those girls would talk amongst themselves and you wouldn't get the first date.
Well, if you're an athlete back in those days, if you were a jock, you know, they were held in high esteem, and you could get a first date just based on being a football player or basketball player, which I was. And then
I thought it was a crew cut.
no, and then I talked.
And then I thought maybe, is it true that they called you Mike Hands Carroll back then?
I had a date one time with Helen Stacy from Villa Grove. Took her to homecoming my senior year. She was an exchange student from Australia. Helen Stacy.
Oh man!
And I think McGrath dated her. And I remember on the date, she was asking about American customs, and so I had her slide over next to me in the car. So we always sit next to each other in the car. That's customary. And then I put my arm around her, dangled it down, and she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm practicing for the one-arm driving classic we have every Christmas. Don't you want me to win?" And she said, "Well, yeah, you know." So I that stick worked for maybe one day. Crap like that. I mean, now Bill was smooth as silk. Bill was really a ladies' guy. I was just a doofus. I just realized this guy is weird. Even Becky, Becky just yelled out, "Yes, he was weird." So why in the hell did you marry me? Becky said she changed. She married me because she thought I'd changed. She thought I had, yeah. But you know, on the third date with Becky actually went out with me more than once. So on the third date, I pulled up in my Datsun 280Z, my sports car and everything. And she thought I had money. And I wound up by the end of the day asking her if I could borrow a couple $1,000. And Becky loaned it to me. So that was it for me. This is the girl for me. So Becky put up with my weirdness.
You know,
Dave, you don't think I'm weird, do you?
I'm going to plead the Fifth Amendment on.
Dave, compared to you, am I weird?
No.
we're talking about remembering Tuscola. Remember the Strand Theater?
Oh,
And
boy.
if you put your arm around a girl in the back row,
Yeah.
Bert Froman would come in and
Oh.
shine that flashlight on you.
Man,
Jane, a Nate.
but here's some of my tips. Here's some of my Strand Theater tips. You spill your popcorn in her lap.
Yeah.
Becky,
Okay, well,
Becky told me-
we will get to pictures, but of course, today,
right.
I
Boyd
want
Henderson.
to, when we're talking about Tuscola and we're talking about
Yeah.
history, you can't talk about Tuscola and history and not talk about this guy.
Nice picture.
I don't know if anybody, I know anybody that loved Tuscola more than Boyd Henderson.
Boyd Henderson is
He loved the history. He could
passed
name-
away. His funeral is today. And we want to dedicate our webcast today to Boyd.
Well, he loved Tuscola. He could name you all 21 gas stations in 1955 in Tuscola. I was a city attorney. He was city councilman 36 years, and he was a great one. He said, as long as you could talk to Boyd, and if he thought it was in the interest of the city, he would go along. He wouldn't play games. But most of all, and David, if you'll just give me a second to recount that Boyd saved my father's life. So he's always special.
Yeah, there's lots of Boyd stories. That's probably the top of the list.
1958, I'm in the 5th grade at the old North Ward Annex, back next to where you were going to build a house.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big kaboom. We ran to the window, big explosion, Brookside, big black smoke going up like a bomb went off. And everybody's yelling, crying. Some girl was crying for her parents were there. So I didn't think a thing about it. I go home at noon. There's about 300 people in our yard. We lived across the street from Brookside. And my mom's there with Melinda, and they're crying. And the neighbors are all holding them. And I run up and they said, your dad was in that explosion. Jim Lamb, my dad, and
Francis Cole.
poor Frances Cole, she had a gas leak. She turned on the stove back there, the pilot light, and blew Jim Lamb out south into Emma Maris's garage. Francis blew up. Dad went straight up into the rafters, came down next to the ice cream parlor, and the rafters fell on him and the building collapsed. There's photos of the buildings on the ground. Boyd Henderson's a senior in 58, runs over there from PE class, and he sees my dad's arm underneath the rubble, and there's fire. And Boyd says he started to run in there to get him, and the PE teacher at the time said, don't go in there. Don't go, he's dead. Don't go in there. And Boyd disregarded him and ran in and drugged my dad out from there of the fire. And the paper at the time has a picture of Brookside blowing up, and it had an article on Boyd Henderson, called him the local hero. And I'll never forget Boyd for that. The final part of that story is we're outside, everybody's crying, everybody's worried, and about then the ambulance pulls up some 3-4 hours after the explosion, back when we had a local hospital at Jarman. And Dad jumped out of the passenger seat, his head shaved, he had 88 stitches on his head. He's smoking a cigar and he jumps out and everybody's staring at him and he goes, what a cup of coffee. So I'm always forever, and I would never have been able to go to college or law school had not Boyd saved my dad. He's just an all around, when you think of a small town guy that's the glue of the town that holds it all together, you know?
Always had a comment or a question about history. And I enjoyed talking to him about those kind of things. Kurt McDaniel was that same
Kurt was
way.
that way.
Yeah.
Boyd would go on eBay. Boyd surfed eBay and he bought Tuscola memorabilia.
Mm.
And he would always come to my house and show me where he found some, where Buffalo Bill came to Tuscola with the Wild West show, or where this or that, or some postcard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's old. He's old Tuscola. When I think of old Tuscola, basic, common, great guy, I think of Boyd.
He
He's kind of
probably
like,
probably has a record for calling me the most on Out of the Past pictures,
yes, yeah.
telling me what they are and who's in them.
Well,
And,
you could tell he just loved it, right?
oh yeah.
He just
Well,
loved it.
Boyd had a close association with my family when he was young.
Mhm.
His mother was very young when she had him. In fact, he's 83, but he has a sister my age.
Mhm.
He spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house and worked for my grandpa. And so Boyd has been a part of my family, since before I was born. So
Well,
good guy. And
Boyd, if you know Boyd's history, Boyd had some tragedy in life. Maybe as much or more than the ordinary person has tragedy, but you could never tell it. He was optimistic, always looked forward to the future, always liked people. He didn't let tragedy get him down. So yeah, I'm going to miss Boyd. All the old timers are gone, Bill. All the great men are dead except you and I, and you're not looking too good.
Not looking too good.
That's a Mark Twain. Is that Mark Twain?
Well, I have to also add, Boyd was certainly a Tuscolian, but one of the Tuscolians that left came from a large
Oh yeah,
family.
another one.
And this is Larry Stabler, who passed away in the obituary. Was really special, wasn't it?
Bill lived across the street from the Stabler clan, 10 of them. Bernice, was that her name?
Geneva
Stabler.
Geneva was the mother.
And she raised those 10 kids. And you never wanted to get in a fight with one of the boys or the girls.
Yeah, it was probably just best.
But the boys were tough hombres. But
yeah,
good
kids.
John wound up being a principal over
A
Paris, superintendent of Paris. Larry, who graduated probably about 54, wound up, and I didn't even know this, he wound up getting a math degree, advanced math degree, postgraduate degree, wildly successful career, mathematician. And of course, Bill and I shot pool with Max. He used to shoot a lot of snooker down there with Max.
Shoot.
Larry and Ronnie would shoot. I don't know, did Bernie shoot pool?
I didn't ask him.
We didn't want to get Bernie mad at us. But anyway, yeah, to see the old Tuscola. Bill and I talk about old Tuscola.
And that's the old Tuscola, the Stabler family.
Stabler families, 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And Ronnie's still here. Had a twin sister.
Rita.
Judy was older. Yeah, wonderful family.
Rita had a son my age.
Yeah.
Has a son my age, Gary.
I came back from the Army and wanted a second car, and I bought Geneva's tan Oldsmobile. I don't know if you remember that car or not. She was no longer driving. Worked hard.
Yeah.
Hard. They were hardworking folks.
Good people.
Real
good people. So
they hitched it up and got it done.
Condolences to all the families and all of them. Yeah.
We're saying that Bill and I are acting this way in case people will say kind things about us. Will people say kind things about us?
I hope someone says something kind.
Stabler, that was my neighborhood.
That's right. You were 2 houses down.
Yeah, you grew up down there.
Did you ever get in a fight with one of them?
And Francis Cole was 2 houses away from me too.
Francis was right around the corner. Poor Francis raising those boys. And
you raised 2 boys.
2 boys. And wasn't there a girl, or was that Anita?
No.
Wife? Oh,
no.
2 boys.
Just the 2 boys. Gary was a year behind.
Francis is another person that had a hard life. And she worked hard. She cooked for Brookside. She cooked at the school. And she just she did what she had to do.
Now, was she a Brooks?
Because mercifully.
Because old Mrs. Brooks lived next door to Francis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was her mother, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time didn't they own the Brookside type thing? He went to war and was killed in the war, I think.
Before the Lambs?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
There was somebody that owned it before.
Yeah.
I think that's why it was called Brookside.
That's the reason.
Yeah. And yeah, even thinking of Brookside brings back. Brookside was the Fonzie. What was that?
Mel's Drive-In type
What
thing.
was the restaurant called in
Well,
Happy Days?
I can't do
Fonzie.
that.
But that was the hangout. That was the high school. The high school used to be right there at the North Ward. And everybody would go down to Brookside for their hamburgers and shakes and cokes.
That's what I was going to say. You know, Tuscola has changed a lot over the years. The high school is where North Ward Square is now. That Mike and Petty developed into housing, but that was the high school. So because of that, there were a lot of businesses that sprang up in that neighborhood across the street and down the street, and so the whole area of North Niles was really a business district. You had Rogers Flower Shop, you had the Vogue Beauty Shop, you had Kenny Huber's Barber Shop.
Yeah.
You had what was a dental office there, different things over the years. And before that, there was a racetrack in the neighborhood. Next door to Mrs. Brooks, where Gordon Adams built a house.
Right.
Where you know, Mrs. Cole lives now. That would be Francis's daughter-in-law. That was a horse track, racing track. So a lot of changes over the years. There was area back there that was dug out to make bricks. The clay was dug out.
That was across the street to the east from your house, wasn't it?
If you look at the area, it's a big block that's cornered by Ohio, Newkirk, Barker, and Carico. You know, that's a big block. If you look behind the houses, you'll see the land is lower.
It's low.
That was all dug out for the clay to make bricks. And that's kind of history that Boyd would be able to talk about. And I'm afraid we're going to lose some of that as people age and pass on. And
well, it's been David, that's why I always praise you at the end of every one of these things, is because you're digitizing history and you're allowing Bill and I to give our thoughts. And, you know, really, Boyd could put you and I to shame, wouldn't you say, Bill?
Oh, Boyd was,
Boyd could put
he had a new generation that he dealt with.
He was in the 50s. Bill and I were probably doing a little bit of, we were young grade school.
We knew something in the 50s. We knew kids in the 50s that graduated high school, but
Boyd goes all the way back.
He goes back.
And we talked about getting Boyd on the show, and I talked to Boyd about it, and he wanted to come on. It just didn't work out the logistics. He didn't have internet at his home. He was on oxygen. He was a little limited in his ability to travel, and it would take some bringing in some technology, and we didn't get it done. I regret that we didn't get that done.
He was oxygen dependent for a while there at the end of his life. I talked to Boyd too about coming on. There's 2 or 3 people like that I've said you ought to come on, and you would really help the program. You know, we finally got Fred on. We got Holste on. We got Howard on. That's one of our great accomplishments. We asked Howard Conair.
And that was funny because we couldn't, Howard, my recollection is Howard wouldn't come on. And so when he came on was when we had Fred on, and he walked into the shop. You guys are frozen up, so I'm going to pause just for a second here.
Yeah, you sound like Donald Duck on Speed there for a while.
I sound like Donald Duck?
Yeah, it froze up.
It froze up, and it came through squeaky.
Yeah.
Hey, we asked Howard, and he wouldn't come.
No, he wouldn't come, but then he walked in on our interview with Fred.
He busted he crashed the party when we had Fred Holste. It was probably my favorite thing. And I think you had your iPhone taped to a tripod, and we had Fred cutting your hair, and Bill and I sitting in a chair talking, and in walks Howard, and he kind of freezes. I said, "Come on, Howard, get in here and say something." And we had trouble getting him to talk, a little shy.
No, but that was perfect. That's probably the best show we ever did.
And probably the greatest moment in podcast history is when Fred laid down and fell asleep during the podcast, which I think kind of symbolizes our viewership.
Yeah.
And you can find that webcast on YouTube and Facebook.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
YouTube isn't just these things, it goes back to our old news ones?
Well, that particular one, I put all of them on YouTube now. I did not back then, except I did put that one on YouTube.
Well, that was a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great time.
That was a great time.
We had a lot of fun that day.
Fred was also, he's a Pasodum boy. But he, as Mike Damler said, he got to Tuscola as quick as he could.
Mhm.
But he was also a local character, iconic.
Well, he graduated from Tuscola.
Yeah, was he 58, 59?
50, 59, 60? Yeah, 60, I think. He's class of 60.
Might have been with Bill Kleiss.
With Bill,
That's right.
60 with,
Bill was 61.
no, he's Lloyd Anderson, Mercer Court, 60. Bill Kleiss, 61. Kitty Quiche. He was 60, I think. Could have been 61. Mary Ann, his sister, was my sister's class, 63.
Mm-hmm.
60.
Miss
Yeah.
Tuscola.
Miss Tuscola. Fred, most people don't know, was a wonderful dancer. He could cut a rug.
Cut a rug. That's an expression.
He could cut a dido.
Okay,
Here we go.
yours truly left his glasses out.
Oh my
This
goodness.
is
Hey, I've
good.
got some, you just want cheaters?
Yeah.
Hey, Becky. I've got some behind my, you know where my printer is? Yeah, in between the couch and the printer, down on that edge, I got 2 or 3 of them. Oh, those are, let me see. Let's try them.
I go to Dr. Boyd tomorrow.
You gotta look through the bottom. Becky,
2 o'clock.
these are bifocals. You'll have to look through the bottom.
Okay.
Go upstairs and get those. Okay.
Pardon us during these technical
Difficulties.
difficulties.
This looks like the class of 69, if I had to guess, or 70, 69. But we'll get Bill's glasses down here. Looks like Mark Kleiss in the first row in the middle. Looks like a Cox up at top.
Marlena Schaefer says class of 73 and 72.
Whoa.
Well, maybe she would know, I'm guessing. We're gonna have Bill some glasses here in a
Is that
second.
on the stage?
No. Those lights are. Now those lights are unique. Where are those lights at?
Well, and I'm
Is that-
sitting here, is that a curtain back there? I
Yeah,
mean,
looks like the
Looks
hidden
like a
girl.
curtain, and those look like the lights that were in the library and study hall.
Yeah,
oh, they're perfect.
that looks like upper right looks like a Hinton girl. Is that a Hinton girl upper right?
That looks like a Hinton on the far right.
Looks like a Cox right here.
I don't know. I don't think that's Jim Cut. No, that's
Is this
not
Mark
Jim
Weiss?
Cox. Can't really tell. I'm
Middle.
gonna go through and scroll the girls.
I think the middle front row is Mark Kleiss.
This is definitely after us. There's a girl right there behind this block that looks like Carla Ford.
It
to
is Carla
me.
Ford. Back row, second to the right is Carla Ford.
I'm sorry, I'm not very good on this.
I do have some names on this when you're ready.
Go
I think
ahead.
you guys like to try to figure it out first.
No, we figured.
Nah,
I don't have all the names. Kathy Rhodes says front row, Ann Stephen, in parentheses, Leisner, Kathy Slaughter, Joy Hanner, in parentheses, Faye, question mark, Andy Kleiss, Cindy Bateman, question mark, second row, Alan Patton, question mark, Jerry Fry, Ted Gailey, Carla Ford, Bloom, Barb Rogers, third row, question mark,
Wait a minute.
question
Barb
mark,
Rogers.
question mark, Jim Cox, Alan Hedinger,
That
it
was-
was Jim Cox.
Kathy
Alan
Wellborn, she thinks, question mark, Hinton.
Yeah, we got Jim Cox and
Carla Ford,
Carla Ford, and I think
I can tell that's.
I thought it was Mark Kleiss, but it could be Andy, all the Kleiss boys. And that
Gwen
has-
Morrow is in the back row on the left.
Well, that is Alan Hedinger back there with glasses on. Now now that you give me his name, I know who that is.
Mhm.
And
That doesn't look like Alan.
Peggy Day says that's Donna Grimm Franklin, in front row, first on the right.
Dr. Graham Franklin.
Okay.
And so that's Leisner on the left. Who was the next one to Leisner?
Kathy Slaughter.
Timothy Slaughter, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you second row, did you say Fry right before you, did you say the fourth one was what Fry?
She says there's Jerry Fry. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it looks like fourth.
Jerry Fry. Look like Jerry to you?
Nope.
Well, and that's according to Kathy. She's got a lot of question marks. I'm not sure that's all in order, but
Well, that's pretty good.
that's
Well, we got 7 of them.
then she said Ted Gailey, Carla Ford.
Yeah, that's Ted Gailey I recognize. And Carla we recognize Carla top. That's pretty good. That's class A, 72, 73, if that's good photo. Where's that at again, Bill? Where are those lights at? I've seen those lights before.
Well, I have too, but they weren't in all the rooms like that, were they?
Those lights were in the library and study hall.
What's the curtain?
Yeah, but we got a curtain there that I've never seen before.
Well, they could have been in the cafeteria, but the ceiling's not high enough for the cafeteria.
No, that's not a cafeteria.
No,
No.
it's not. No. So I don't know where those,
Huh.
and those are not theater curtains. Those are more like room divider curtains.
Yeah.
Could have been
Yeah.
in the, but they've got the, you know what? I'll bet it's the chorus room.
Yeah, I think you're right. Band chorus.
They have the risers.
Mm-hmm.
Same group.
Doug Dietrich in the back.
Doug Dietrich back, 5th one.
Oh, I see a kid I know.
There's Dave Snyder.
Yeah, Snyder.
Second one in is Dave Snyder.
Second row,
Kent Ragsdale.
first kid on the right is Ronnie Gokin. Looks like him.
I was gonna say Kent Ragsdale, but I can't tell.
Nah, Kent's class of 67.
Okay, you're right.
That's a Huber back here, too.
Is that Willoughby?
It's Jones, Mr. Jones. What do I call it? I can't think his first name.
Well, okay, you got names?
Well, Jan Hastings has some of the names. Front row, Steve Wetzel.
That's Steve.
We
We never got Steve.
I never
Yeah.
got that.
Good friend of ours. Question mark, Mike Parker. And Terry Parker Wilkerson says, yes, that's Mike. Question mark. Second row, David Jones, Phyllis.
Yeah, David Jones.
Phyllis Munsey Truitt, Nancy Hinton, LaRenee Anderson, Kathy McCumber, and Flesser. Question mark. Back row, Jamie Huber Owen, Dave Snyder, James Harbaugh, Jim Cox, Doug Dietrich, Susie Wright, Carol Stickle, Carol Woods.
Well, we can now see, they weren't sure about this one here. Did you say the second one from the left is Phyllis Munsey Truitt?
Which row? Let's see. Second row, she says David Jones, then Phyllis Munsey Truitt.
That's Phyllis.
That's according to Jan Hastings.
And she would know. That kid on the end can't be Ronnie Gokin because he graduated about 69.
Well, Dietrich graduated what, 72? This is gonna be class of 72.
Well, you got Snyder's 71.
Marlena Schaefer says class of 72 and 73, and then Jane Mason Jones says also 71.
Yeah.
Well, Dietrich was your brother-in-law graduated 71 with John Surma, and Dietrich was a junior then. Was Dave a senior, Snyder?
I think he was actually a sophomore. I think Dietrich graduated.
You think he was a
73.
sophomore?
Yeah, I think he graduated in 73.
Okay.
But don't hold me to it.
So it's 71 to 73. Oh, Orville.
Orville.
Go ahead.
That's Waters.
John Waters. That's he's living here in town, isn't he?
He was living in a condo.
assisted living. He was in a
He might
condo.
be at Brookstone now.
Brookstone, I think I was talking to Phil the other day. Phil's kind of helping hold now that his mom's down at
Carriage Crossing.
Carriage Crossing. Phil's kind of holding the family together, and I think looks after John a little bit. Oh boy,
Huh.
these are all Tuscola National. These are inside the old Tuscola National Bank,
Yep.
and that's the mighty Kreskin,
Now City Hall.
Larry Kersine, the mighty Kreskin. That was the former TNB. Bill McCarty built his new bank in the shape of a football.
Speaking of such,
Speaking
There
of
he
Big
is.
Bill, there's Big Bill. You talk about one of the greats of Tuscola. And his dad goes back to 1903 when he played football, and his dad was on the board of supervisors, real civic leader.
I think Bill may be the nicest guy I've ever known.
Yeah, Yeah.
Thank you. I mean,
thank you. Hey, Bill, the pressure's off now.
Not that you guys aren't nice,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah.
is there any, and Bill is up in Bloomington now.
Mhm.
Is there anybody nicer than Bill McCarty, really?
Well, everybody liked Bill McCarty, everybody
Yep.
respected Bill McCarty. And he loved
He bled black and gold.
Tuscola.
Yeah. Oh, good picture. Amos Albritton and go ahead.
The Red Prophet, the redhead, and there's Red's wife.
Mhm.
Jean Cornell over to the right.
Yeah.
Who's on the left
I
there?
don't know who that is. I think they're presenting an award, maybe Tuscolean of the Year or
Well,
something.
Red was given the very first Tuscola of the Year was to, I think, maybe Denny Dietrich, but they also, first or second was the Red Prophet for bringing Jean Waters, Miss Illinois, back from the Miss America contest. Red arranged her to come back. Wasn't that it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they honored him for that back in the early 70s.
This is in the community building.
Think so. Got that arch.
Yeah.
There's the building that Denny Dietrich built. Wasn't that Denny built that?
Mm-hmm.
Paul Flock, his best friend, built the Magnavox next door. Then he built this, had electrical business, and he put his on the right-hand side,
Donuts.
put his coffee and donut shop.
And it was great.
Why didn't it go? Why didn't it?
It did go, I
mean-
think. I don't know what. It was just too much. I mean,
Too much going on.
well.
There's a lot of businesses over the years. Rudy Huber says Kenny Huber's Barbershop and the Coffee Mug.
The coffee mug's what that was called.
And I don't remember
I don't
Kenny's
remember
shop
Kenny
being in
having a
there.
shop in
Did
there.
Kenny move his shop down there?
Well, that's according to Rudy, but
No, Rudy probably
Or
know.
Rudy would know.
Rudy would know.
remember.
I don't remember.
I just
being in
remember
there.
Kenny. I remember Kenny on North Niles.
He says Dietrich Electric was also there.
Yeah, Denny was there, but he put. I think his main motive was to put his coffee mug shop.
Yeah, the coffee mug. It was great.
Kathy Rhodes says Studio 36 as well. Eric Alexander says Dr. Cross's office was there.
Well, Doc came
knew
in.
that.
Doc came in. A lot of businesses were there.
Orleans
it's,
on the boardwalk.
Now it's a Harrison. Doesn't Ogden? What's her name? Butch Dietrich's sister.
Yeah, she has the
Susan-
beauty shop
Susan,
there in
what's-
coffee mug.
What's her first name?
Oh, I can't think.
I
of
just
it.
saw-
Rice Real Estate.
Right now today,
Sherry Stewart has an
Sherry
office
Stewart
in.
at the west end has an
Mhm.
insurance office we've been in. At the east end is, I just had Greg Alton here today doing some electrical work, Augie.
Oh, did you?
And I talked to him about our old buddy Butch Dietrich, John Dietrich. But his wife's still cutting hair there. Butch's
Mhm.
sister.
So
Sure.
nice building on Route 36.
Yeah, I think Higgins and I owned that one time. Higgins and I built houses back in the 80s, and our first house we sold to Stan Cross. And Stan traded us his house up by the hospital, which we sold to Scotty Day.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty's recovering from, he's had two hips replaced.
Both hips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little complication with the second one.
An infection in one of them,
Oh.
which I guess is common with hip surgeries. It's a real problem.
I didn't have it.
No, you got lucky. And then Stan traded this building to Higgins and I. And I think Jim took it over then. I didn't. I was not a good landlord.
Mhm.
Okay, Bill, go.
Okay, on the left, Gene Cornell, Amos Albritton, Red Prophet, John Smith.
John Smith, brother to Warren, and they joined forces with the Matinee and the Smith Shoe. I think this probably is awarding him Chamber of Commerce Award for Tuscola.
This next picture, I don't know is Tuscola, but it was a picture of a picture, and it was in with the negatives, and it was a
Probably
cool
Hugo.
picture. So I included it.
Yeah, that was from a Buster Keaton movie called The Great Train Wreck.
Down here at the Y Tower.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but it's
Doesn't look like a silent movie with Buster Keaton.
Mhm.
yeah, Danny Matthews said looked like a Harold Lloyd stunt scene.
Yeah, Harold Lloyd or Buster Keaton. Good old days. The old steam engine.
But look at that train. Just a really interesting
My grandmother lived on East North Central and right next to railroad tracks. And when Melinda about died from diabetes and I was about 5 or 6, I stayed with Grandma for a week or two. And I'd lay there in that front bedroom window and watch these steam trains go through during the middle of the night. Steam trains are wonderful things.
Mhm.
And for the people who don't know, that second car behind the engine is the coal car.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Lauren Tate, I think.
Golly, that's when he was working for the Hillard Agency.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. That's Lauren sold insurance for George Hillard. Sonny Tate,
So
Monticello basketball great. I think I played EI League baseball against him one year. Good athlete. Still writing for the News Gazette. He's
90 years old.
90 years old. Still a good writer. Lauren Sonny Tate. Okay. Now you're going to press us here a little bit.
Oh, we are pressed. Okay. We're really pressed.
Well, Danny Matthews says Jane Wilson in front with the paper.
Yeah, that's Mrs. Wilson in the front. That's Eddie's wife.
Eddie's late wife.
And one of them is Mrs. Baranek, but the comments don't say which one.
Who's the gentleman?
I don't know. That's the only two names I had on
Looks
that.
like community building.
I'll tell you what, this lady here on the far left looks like someone we used to go to church with. She's deceased. Looks like
If you ever find a
Mary Lee Warfel.
If you ever find a picture of the Presbyterian Church with a young Bill Englehart, would you please frame it, send it to me?
Try to prove that he went.
Oh, there we go. There's
That's a motley crew.
This is 1971. And on the left is the chaplain, Dennis Chaplain, father of our sheriff. Larry Ring, I'll let you go for the other two.
Well, Lynn Strake. And then Barry or Gary.
Barry Henby.
Barry
probably had the tackle trophy. Larry is probably most valuable. Great quarterback, defensive player. Chappie might have been, I don't know, sportsmanship. He was a great guy. But I think Barry might have been.
Rudy Huber says Larry was Decatur Herald
Review.
Yeah,
Player of the Year.
Yeah. And that might be Barry Henby holding the Dietrich Huber tackle trophy.
This is the same picture we had before.
Yeah. Well, that's when Bill played Santa.
I don't know who Santa is there.
No.
Apparently, on the far right in the go-go boots is Cindy McDuffie.
Seriously.
I'll be darned. I didn't think she wore boots like that.
And Nate Escardo says, is that Annette Weaver, pharmacist's daughter, with Santa? So not sure, but he thinks maybe.
Huh.
No idea.
Well, normally we can Santa for a long time. I think Jim Harbaugh played it for a long time.
Hop Connor played.
Papa Connor played it. I played it down at the Baptist Church in Bourbon one year. Mom wanted me to go down. And play.
Did you really?
Yeah. I had to put a pillow on my belly. Now I don't have to do that.
I played it for 5 years for my daughter-in-law.
Did you? Oh boy, this is
Blast from the past. Oh my goodness. Well, I got one on the far right.
Could you blow it up just a little bit?
Front row, far right. That may be Dale Hanners.
Flash. That's Flash Hanners. Well, Flash graduated in 69.
I know.
So this is, we should know these guys.
It looks like Flash. I'm not convinced it is.
May not be.
I don't
Man.
think so. Rudy Huber has the names, but I'll let you guys.
42 looks like Rudy Huber.
That would be correct.
And
That's-
and 55 looks like Connor. What's his first name? Harry Connor's
Kevin.
Kevin. 32 looks like Mike Waters.
No, he's before these guys. Mike was.
Yeah, he played with.
He graduated
Oh, you
in
might be.
69.
Yeah, you might be right. 12 looks like. Come on, is that a?
I want to know who 44 is because that's a big, tall kid.
Well,
It looks like.
Well, let me know when you're ready for the name.
well, let's look at the bottom row here real quick.
I kind of give up.
Well,
Somewhere in there is probably Steve Sanderson. Who knows? Oh, yeah. Next to 44 might be Steve Sanderson.
where you
Black shoe.
where you at?
I'm down here.
Yeah, Steve might be 20. What?
Can't read his number.
25, maybe.
Yeah, I can't see the 5, but
Right.
he's 1, 2, 3,
20,
4.
25, not sure.
Going in from the left, our left.
Okay, Marcy Shoemaker says this is class of 74. Rudy Huber says front row. Craig Owen, Tom Ellis, Fred Gailey, Steve Sanderson, Rick Smith, Jerry Hall, Bruce Rogers, Greg Ogden, Mike Meyer, Daryl Cummings. Back row, Steve Riley, Wes Redden, Phil Waters, Kevin Connor,
It was Phil
Huber,
Waters.
Gary Roach, Neil Oakley, Rick Jones, Doug Grimm, Kevin Waite, Keith Burke.
So that was Phil Waters, 32.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg Ogden, third one from the right, was just here an hour ago replacing some plugs for me. I didn't, Augie was, he said I was asking about retirement. He said he's 62, I think. Would that be right?
Rudy is,
That doesn't sound right.
license plate says 55.
Oh, well, of course, these are grade school pictures, so that's about it.
That's right.
This is class of 74, 8th grade.
74, which is, will be, their 50th anniversary.
Yeah, Augie said, I figured he's 60 something, maybe he's 64.
So 50 on to,
Yeah, this looks like grade school here.
they're late 60s.
Yeah, so I thought Mike Waters played with Rudy, but I thought
It's not
Mike,
Mike.
Phil.
No,
Phil Waters and
Sanderson.
Smith
Yeah,
were the guards.
yeah.
Sanders is a forward. Now, shouldn't Doug Dietrich be in here? No. Who else is on that team? Oakley. Oakley's a tall guy.
Yeah. That Roach kid was a great big kid. I remember that's Bill Roach's son. But
Bill Roach
they
was-
didn't graduate from high school here, I don't.
No, Bill Roach left here. He was the first Federal Savings and Loan, was he?
I can't remember
Or
if it was
credit
in the
union?
bank.
Bill Roach moved down to, did he move to Lovington?
Sounds familiar.
And Coach Lovington's basketball?
You're thinking of,
I'm thinking of somebody else.
starts with a D, worked for Pearl.
Yeah, I think you're right. I've got
Duncan, you're thinking of
Ray Duncan. I'm thinking of Ray Duncan. Sorry. Well, that looks like pecan pie. Or no, that's custard pie.
This is possibly the German Hospital Auxiliary Christmas event.
Hmm.
Victoria Fernandez says Jean Pendergrass, dark hair, sitting down at table. White-haired lady next to her,
Pendergrass.
maybe Eunice Muir, not sure.
Yeah, I think that is Eunice Muir.
Doug's grandma.
Doug Rice.
Doug's-
Eunice Muir was the gal. I came home from the Army, and Mom and I drove around town to get caught up, and we drove by Eunice Muir lived down there. Across where Chuck Holmes lived, that nice little house
On the corner.
on the corner, nice white little house.
Mhm.
And I asked Mom, I said, how's Mrs. Muir doing? Well, her husband had died,
Raymond.
Raymond Muir, and he says, well, she's all alone, nobody take care of her. So he says, a horrible thing to be left all alone in a small town. So that was my mom's start of getting me to let me know I'm coming back to Tuscola and living and taking care of her.
Taking care.
It worked. Mrs. Muir was a sweet lady. Well, that looks like Betty Carlson on the left.
We've got a guy playing golf.
Is that Betty Carlson on the left?
It looks like her, but it's not.
It isn't. Okay.
No. Can't help you on this one,
Well, she was German auxiliary, if that's what this is.
but that's not her though.
Okay.
Marilyn Moody says the lady on the right looks like Mrs. Mann. And Dina Mann Kidwell says that's correct. That's her grandmother.
Is that Della?
I don't have the
Della
first.
Mann,
Tom Mann's mother.
Tom Mann's mother, L.H. Mann's wife, lived down there on what's that cul-de-sac?
Cherry's.
No, not Cherry.
Cherry Street.
Sun.
Well, that's where Williams lived, didn't he?
Well, that's where Jim Bailey lived at the very end, and L.H. lived over on the east side. Sunny something.
Oh, let me put on my glasses here.
Leave them on. You look good in them.
Man, that's a hornet's nest and a half. That kid looks like a kid that was in school many years later. But Jeff Butler just wanted to.
That's the old. That's the.
There was a kid.
You want the
Elliot.
initials?
Yeah, give us the initials.
DB.
No clue.
That's the
According
old.
according to Rudy Huber, according to Rudy Huber, that's Dan Blossy, class of 74.
Well, Rudy gets a star. Bill and I wouldn't have guessed that in 5 seconds.
No. Blossy.
Blossy. Blusey.
Name. Nice hornet's nest.
Yeah.
That was a good hornet's nest.
Anything here?
No.
Marcy Shoemaker says, tag Pam Reinhardt.
In the
Says,
middle?
is that you, second from right? And she says, yes, it is.
Oh, over here in the white top with the
Blonde hair.
dark hair. Yeah. With her hand up to her face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the only name I have on that one.
All righty.
You know, you ought to get Rudy.
Man, that's a great picture right there.
You ought to get Rudy and Marcy to come on here, and Bill and I could retire.
I hope that Nathan Chaplin gets to see this. That's
Yeah.
a wonderful picture of his dad.
Dennis was a great guy. Is that Ryan with him?
That's Ryan.
Which one of the Ryan boys?
Well,
Kevin and
Kevin was the oldest, and this is my brother.
Dennis.
Dennis Ryan.
Dennis Ryan. Yeah, he was class of 71. Dennis was a submariner. He retired from the Navy, and he was on submarines.
I got a call from Dennis Ryan one night back in the 80s. Talked to me about the good old days and missed me and everything. And I don't ever remember knowing Dennis Ryan. So I don't know if he got me. I got a similar call from Mike Brinkley talking about being his best friend. I don't remember. I like Mike. We had our class together. You ever get one of those calls?
I've had several calls.
Well,
like
but
that.
women. I mean, you ever have a guy call you?
This looks like at East, would this be at East Prairie?
Well, that's the high school
That's a
wall.
high school
That's the high school
wall.
wall
It's
there.
high school wall. Okay.
Yeah. What's great is to see how happy they are.
I don't remember those.
That's really special.
You want your high school students to be enjoying their time and loving.
I don't remember those 4-inch tiles at the high school. What room would that be in?
Well, let me look.
Well, that could be up against the basketball. Is that the gym wall?
You know what? You might be right. Maybe they were over at East Prairie for something. Who knows?
David, we're going to give you one here.
We had tiles.
That looks like East Prairie tiles to me.
The high school tiles are a little bigger.
Yeah, they were rectangular.
Yeah, they were 6 by 6, 8 by 8. They were big.
Great. That's a great picture.
They'll last forever.
Rudy Huber had the names on that one again.
Well,
Rudy's got them all.
sharp guy.
Rudy's got them all.
God, that's Marguerite Pate on the left.
It looks like Judge Harry Pate's wife, and it looks like on the right is that Doug Rice's mom.
Can't tell.
According to Clayton Harris, that is Nancy Harris on the right.
That's
Nancy
oh,
Harris, okay, but I bet that's Marguerite Pate on the left.
Anybody call Mrs. Pate on the left?
Chubb Connor says Mrs. Pate on the left.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Nancy and
That's hard to tell that that's Nancy because there's something in the way of her face.
Mhm.
she had nose surgery. Nancy and Paige had a florist shop in Tuscola, just west of the vault. When they used to have businesses all the way down that street on West North Central.
Yeah. Nancy was good friends with my mother. Well, Marguerite Pate, Harry Pate. Wow.
I came back, David, my Marguerite Pate story. Well, I came back from I was in law school and Harry died and she had a sale of his law books. And I don't know why. I thought I should go down there and buy some. I was just a law student. And I told her I was going to law school at the U of I. And she said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'm going to come back and be state's attorney." She says, "Oh, you poor kid. What am I getting into?"
Really?
Yeah. "Oh, you poor kid.
Huh.
State's attorney is a tough job." There you go, class of 71. Name them off, Bill.
Well,
I want to name one of them.
go ahead.
Second from the left and the fifth from the left are the Stone Cipher twins.
That's right.
Which one is John? I don't know.
John's on the left. Over here, John, this is Jim. This is John on the right.
Second one from the left.
John's next to Dietrich.
Okay, so go ahead, Bill. Name them.
Well, bottom row on the left, assistant coach Les Sluter, then Jim Stonecipher, John Surma, Dave Snyder, John Stonecipher, Doug Dietrich, and Wild Bill Burris.
Wild Bill.
And I can still hear Burris going to the pool hall and yelling at Stonecipher stick. "We've got a game tonight. Where are you?" Hey, we got to finish these games. We're making money.
Those Stone Cipher boys,
Man, they could
shoot some pool.
Yeah, they were tough.
Okay,
Back row, go ahead.
Dennis Kaplan. You're going to have to help me. Mick. That's one of the Mick boys.
Steve Mick, Larry
Steve Mick.
Ray,
Larry Ring.
Owens.
One of Leonard Owens' boys.
I can't tell who the next one is.
I can't either.
Rob
Can't-
Meyer.
Rob Meyer.
Rob Meyer. Okay. Then we got another one. I can't tell. And then that's Romine,
Wait, now, and there's a
the
Wilson.
big one.
Shouldn't there be a Wilson in there?
Charlie wasn't at practice that day.
And then there is this guy is oh, come on, Ted Gossett. That's Gossett who became a chiropractor. Tom Gossett.
And then Burke.
The runner Burke. And there's the
Hanby.
Hanby boy.
Yeah.
Far right, I don't know.
I want to tell you, that's a pretty good basketball team. That
Oh,
front
man.
row, man.
They were good.
They were.
You should have gotten the one next to Rob Meyer.
Well, let me look at it real quick.
I really can't tell. Oh, is that Hastings?
That's Chop.
Yeah. That's Greg Hastings.
He was a tall kid, though. He must have grown a little bit after.
Well, he's front there.
He was shorter than Larry Ring.
I want to tell you, that front row would beat you down.
Oh, boy.
Practice.
You know, I tell you what, that team right there, Sturma, there's two 1,000 point scorers there, Surma and I both, Surma, and I think I had 3 more points than Surma. We're both 1,200 and some. And Dietrich got over 1,000. And I asked Dietrich how in the world he got 1,000 points with Surma and the Stone Ciphers. Because those Stone Ciphers put it up. And Dietrich was a prolific scorer, great rebounder. Dietrich said he got all of his points off rebounds, putbacks.
And the one you didn't get on the back row far right is a cousin of mine,
Well, it's either a Dallas or a Porter.
Rick Dallas.
Related.
Rick
I don't
Dallas.
have any Porter cousins in town.
Well, you could. That looks like a Dallas.
When
So
the Stone Ciphers moved here from Mount Vernon, Illinois, there was a lot of talk. These two guys are coming in here.
Oh, yeah. Buddy, they could play. I played a ton of golf with John Stone Cipher. He's just a good athlete. He can do anything.
So let me read the names that Rudy Huber has and Marcy Shoemaker. Front row, most of them you got, I think. Les Luter,
I think we got them all.
We got them all.
is it Jim Stone Cipher,
Yeah.
John Surma, Dave Snyder, John Stone Cipher, Doug Dietrich, Bill Burris, the back row, Dennis Chaplin, Steve Mick, Larry Ring, Steve Owen, Rob Meyer, Greg Hastings, Craig Romine, Tom Gossett, Ken Burke, Gary Hemby, and Rick Dallas.
That's it.
And we missed Dallas and Meyer and
Hastings.
Hastings. We should have got.
Well, you got Hastings eventually.
And once he said,
Once
we
you
should
said-
know it, we got him.
Once you said that was Greg Hastings,
Yeah.
we knew it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The chopper.
No, I got.
You did get him.
Yeah.
And there is the president of India, second from the left, came to build a new plant in
On
Tuscola.
the far right
On the far right is, you talk about now, you just said Bill McCarty,
was the nicest guy
nice guy at
ever.
Tuscola. And here's a guy,
This guy, maybe.
maybe even nicer than
Well, I
Bill.
didn't know him. I said Bill's the nicest guy I ever knew.
Arnon Bear, city attorney, local attorney. Arnon Bear, people don't know this. He would go next door, help a poor widow with her 3 kids fighting, and go over there and just break them up and help settle that. He was just a wonderful, kind guy.
He would load the station wagon. Come on, gang. You call him,
Yeah.
my gang.
Celeste,
And God.
Celeste and
we'd go.
Steve and Bob and Jeff, the Bear family,
Yeah.
and just a
He'd
wonderful.
take us for a treat at the Taste You Freeze. And he was really a special.
I've said this before, he almost was too nice to be a lawyer. A lawyer's got to have a little bit of, you know what, in him.
Yeah.
Fight. So on the left, we got, let's talk about this. This looks like Base Memorial Church they're showing that was built out at by Panhandle Pipeline and USI.
Mhm.
Cartwright. And this,
That's Romine.
that's a roll mine. Fourth one in is a roll mine. Somewhere in there is the architect. A lot of us really are a little upset by this. A person left money. He wanted a church built in memorial to his family, his wife, and he asked the architect at U of I to go study the English countryside and design an English countryside church. And what we got was a modern precast concrete
Mhm.
building,
Mhm.
which was never efficient, didn't have adequate insulation, leaked. I think Bob Ard's parents lived out there as custodians. David, you probably should have lived there. And they
Yeah.
eventually tore it down. And they spent all the money on the church. There's no money left for repairs. I think it's sad.
It was a boondoggle.
Yeah.
Boondoggle is a good word.
It was a waste of over $1 million.
Yeah, the architect got carried away with his ball house, minimalist.
And he spent what, 2-3 years over in Europe
Yeah,
on this guy's dime.
yeah. Well, you want to design it while you're alive to make sure it's what you
The
want.
bell tower, I remember that.
So
Don and
that,
Cindy had their reception there after they were married.
I was never inside of it.
Oh, you weren't?
No.
Well, I guess not. Who knows? Probably a lot of people weren't. It was a cold building.
It was. It was, I don't think they put insulation, I think it's solid concrete.
Solid
They
concrete.
didn't put vapor barriers or insulation.
it
I
was-
think it was a problem. Who we got here, Bill? This is the Keep Douglas County
Stop the
Drive.
dam. Were we gonna dam up
Well-
the Ambro?
No, they were gonna, yes, they were gonna. Who was doing that back then? Was it Paul Stone out of
Sullivan?
Sullivan? They did dam up in Sullivan, they got the reservoir.
For Shelbyville.
Someone was gonna create a
But
dam.
who are we gonna do that here?
Well,
I know the journal was against it. Dan Walker was against it. So a lot of these next several photos are from the Stop the Dam movement. They may not all be local people, but there were meetings in Tuscola.
this
And
is a big seventies thing.
yeah, it's a big effort to stop the dam. And apparently they got it stopped.
I think was it Coles County down Charleston? They're gonna do, what was it? I think it was Charleston and the Embro River.
Could have been. I need
Nope.
help.
I don't have any names on this one.
I didn't think so.
That's the Wives for Stop the Dam, I
I
think.
don't know.
That's John Clare smoking a pipe.
And that's community, what is the hot coat rack back there? Is that community building?
I don't know. Looks like a chair at the courthouse to me.
Well, could be.
Yeah, I don't think it's a community building.
That's who it is. Did someone say anything on that?
Yeah, Rudy Huber said John Clare and Carrie Bryce says her grandpa.
There's the top right is Mrs. Poley.
Oleg. Jewel, was that her name, Jewel?
Well, she had two boys, Jim. and,
Rhonda Fair says Gertrude.
Gertrude.
Gert.
Gert, yeah.
And
Carrie Boy says Cleta Claire standing on the left.
well, this is Royal Order. I'm guessing this is a moose.
Moose.
These are moosettes.
This is Moose. That would have been upstairs over the journal building. This is where I had an apartment at one time.
David, have you lived in every edifice in Tuscola?
I've lived everywhere. What's that Johnny Cash song? I've been
I've
everywhere.
been everywhere, man.
Pittsburgh, Red River. John Clare. Is that John on the left? And that's
Yeah.
Mr. Warfel on the right. Which,
No, this is,
what is son?
oh geez, Warders.
Borders, I call him Warfel.
Yeah, that's Francis Warders.
There's Clarence and Francis, and that's Clarence. So that's Francis?
Francis Warders. Clarence was
Yeah.
Steve's dad, but that doesn't look like. Nah, it may be Clarence. They were brothers.
They
so
were
I don't
brothers.
know.
I thought it was Clarence. Is that, who's the second guy from the right? We should.
No,
That might have been the district governor of the Royal Order of the Moose.
help us out. Is all Rudy does is sit and look at pictures.
Is
anymore?
Rudy working anymore?
Yeah, I think so.
Bill and I aren't, so why is he?
He might sit in a tractor and just look at pictures.
So the tractor can run itself. They can plant.
Yeah,
and
that's
everything.
true. That's what he's doing.
Well, that's a community building, isn't it? Back in the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Oh, boy.
That's the kitchen, the community building, and that looks like.
They're not all Tuscola. The one with the striped shirt looks familiar, but I
Yeah, he
Not
looks
picture.
familiar to me too. He's about
don't have
ready.
any
Scout.
names. But the one on the right is from LaPlace, and the one behind him is from Homer. So during this time, the kid from Homer, pretty good chance my grandmother was his first grade teacher.
Good Lord, you have tentacles over into Homer?
Well, my grandmother taught first grade there. My grandpa was the grade school principal.
This guy's deep in downstate Illinois.
I'm telling you, Porter needs to run for governor.
You need to run for something, David.
I do. I run for the county line is what I'm running for.
Yeah, I know. Brave men run in my family. They run about 3 miles an hour.
I don't have any names on this one. The guy on the left looks a little like Alex Cavanaugh to me, but I'm not sure.
Reverend Cavanaugh. Dave Cavanaugh ran cross country for me back in the day.
And I don't know that that's who it is, but it looks like he's holding a Bible, maybe.
Like Carl Wolverton. That Carl Wolverton. Right there.
in the background?
Pretty
Yeah,
close.
look a little bit like Carl Wolverton sitting there, but don't know.
Who knows?
Oh, there we go. Bill knows these four.
Oh, gosh, actually, I do know
I-
the second from the left, but I can't think of her name.
She's familiar too on the right. E.D. Google.
I don't have any names on this one either.
E.D. Google.
I don't think so.
I don't have names on this one, but I know one of them.
Well, just a second.
Actually do have some names on this one.
Give us a hint here of one of them.
Second from the right.
Got initials?
SQ.
Shirley Quinn's all I can think of.
That's Shirley Quinn.
Is that Shirley Quinn? I'll be darned.
That's my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay, that's Shirley Quinn. There's two Shirley Quinns in Tuscola.
Right. But this one is John Quinn's
Give us
widow.
the initials, give us the initials of the tall girl in the middle with the,
RW.
Miss Tuscola.
Who is she?
No,
Who?
it's Dan Walker's daughter, Roberta Walker.
Seriously, man, she got long legs.
Well, Walking Walker.
Walking Walker. She's like her dad.
And second from the left is Mrs. Walker. And the one on the right, they think is Sally Satterwhite.
That's Helen Satterwhite?
Sally.
Okay, because Helen Satterwhite was a congressman up in Champaign.
Mhm.
Cam Satterwhite's widow, when he died, she ran.
Well, that's the name they think. Could be Helen. I don't know. But
Well,
this
I-
has been a meeting for Stop the Dam at my in-laws' house.
I remember that. I think they were gonna dam the, I think it was down around Charleston, between Douglas County and Coles County, they were gonna dam the Emerald.
That's what I said originally. I wondered if that's what it was
They pulled it off in Sullivan,
Yeah.
to create the Shelbyville. Paul Stone pulled that off,
So this
I think.
this would be where Kidwell Miller lives now, where Jim Voiles used to live.
That's right. That was your in-laws lived there, I remember.
My in-laws lived there.
He was on the city council. Wasn't he a professor at the U of I?
John was an associate professor, and he's also a city council member.
Right.
And this is the house that had the makeout room in the basement that I wrote about in my book.
Yeah. Well, Bill and I have a couple stories when the Van Voorses lived there,
Mm-hmm. Susan.
and we will not write about it. Oh, there's
George Sterrett right in the middle.
George Sterrett
And
and
that's Mrs. Hausman, Bob Hausman's
Bob
wife,
Hoffman's wife,
Vicky's mom,
and that's Chief AJ's wife on the left, I think.
Corrine Huffer.
Corrine Huffer on the left. How we doing?
Well, that's most of the names that I have on Facebook. Marcy Shoemaker says Clarice Hausman behind Shirley.
Oh, Clarice.
Was that Clarice? I don't remember the cat's eyes.
I don't either.
I'll be darned, I didn't. Clarice Hausman was an Ulrich. She was a cheerleader back in the 50s. Clarice Ulrich. Well, this is the porch there where your in-laws lived at.
Yep. So I don't have names, but that's
Probably a greeting for Governor Walker or something.
it was also a Stop the Dam meeting, I think. Welcome aboard, beer lovers, it says. So that's on the porch. I don't know the names.
Oh, this is inside that same house.
Inside the
see
same house.
Hall.
There's Mrs. Hall. Second from the left is our history teacher, civics teacher.
Yeah, she was my history teacher too.
One of our favorite teachers.
One of our favorite teachers, sweet gal. She loved it. She was at her best when she abandoned the script and started talking about back in West Virginia,
Yeah.
where
She's great.
she missed West Virginia. My freshman, sophomore year in school, you talk about the Stone Ciphers coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about the Halls moving in, and we heard their oldest son, Alan. They said, this guy's 6'3", 200, all-American quarterback. You'll never play basketball or football again. So evidently we're threatened by people moving in, you know.
Rudy
But
Huber says Ruth Rentschler on the left.
Ruth Rentschler on the left, longtime teacher.
Yeah, first grade teacher.
And Olga, these are teachers here.
On the far right is my mother-in-law, Shirley Quinn.
Yeah. Ruth was that old-fashioned teacher that grammar had to be right. And
I was in that house a lot when Mr. Boyles was superintendent.
Yeah, no,
I think that's Mrs. Walker, isn't it? Smiling.
I believe so.
That's a grand old house,
It is the old four square
house. Well, let's see. We should know these here. Come on.
I only have one of the names.
Well,
I bet it's the second one from the left.
Second from the left.
That's not the one I have the name for.
You have the name for, and then give us the initials.
The one on the right, VK.
There, Christine's mom.
Vanjie Kleiss.
Oh, that's Vanjie.
According to Rudy Huber and Janice Moody agrees.
Well, that would be
That's
Janice
Grandma
Moody's.
Vanjie Kleiss.
Yeah. Vanjie's. I've got a picture. In fact, if I had time, I'd get it for you. I got a picture of Vanjie Kleiss. And I ought to go get that for you while you. 1927 senior picture. She's beautiful. Vanjie Kane was her name.
Nifto.
You get that. I'm going to get that picture of Vanjie Kleiss here.
Well, that's Craig Chapman running the pharmacy, I believe. I'm a little blurred here looking at it, but maybe it's not him, but it looks a little bit like him.
Well, I didn't have a name, but I think that's Save More.
Oh, and you think it's Save More and not the pharmacy?
Well, I think so, but I could be wrong.
I could be wrong.
We had some other pictures from Save More in the same group of negatives.
Huh. Oh, Michael, want to see this one here?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Michael, want to see this one.
Yeah.
So we'll
hold on to
there and we'll pause till Mike gets back.
Yeah.
There is it. The 1924 Tuscola Annual. I believe, if I can get this up here. Second girl, the top, Evangeline Kane, Vanjie. Can you see it?
Yep.
Beautiful. Right there.
Where is she?
I think that's Vanjie Kleiss.
I'll be darned. Isn't that something? There's Doc Lawler's daughter.
Greg Lawler. Who's so mad?
Clapper.
Bill Clapper.
Jeez.
This is 1924. There's Cecil Caesar Green, tax brother. William Scheidman. And there's Curtis Marsh. Rick Marsh's dad.
I'll be darned. Man, he didn't change much,
He
did he?
didn't change at all. Class 24.
Class of 24.
Bill and I were freshmen that year. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's Vanjie. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is the All-Stars. That's Al Borey's upper right.
22.
Is Al Borey's.
I recognize the third one from the left on the bottom row.
Well, first one in the bottom row on the
Larry-
left
Larry
is
Ring.
a Hall of Fame softball player.
Larry Ring.
Third one's Richard Kidwell.
That's right, he was a pitcher.
There's the fourth one. You know who the fourth one is? On the bottom row? That is John Hole.
Boy, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
That's Duff and Drew's dad. He was a great baseball player. His two boys grew up to be great athletes. Duff was the most valuable player and a batting champion for, I think, Buckley Loda in the EI League. Great baseball player. And up on the right, this is hardball, by the way. Al Boris was
This
a
is a fast pitch.
fast pitch
you know.
hardball. I pitched EI League ball. Al was kind of in twilight years. Al taught me all kinds of tricks on the mound, how to move around the mound, shorten your stride, lengthen your stride, how to hold the ball. He was a great pitcher and basketball player from T-Town. Who are the other guys?
There goes Randy.
Who are the other guys? We should know all these guys here.
Morning, Rudy. Are you ready for names?
This is S&K's team. Now, let me just look real quick because
Yes,
that's Carl Stacy owned that team.
Number 3 is Kerner. Is that Kerner?
Mike Kerr, possibly, but is Blotto in there? Jerry played, you know.
Looks like Cornwell 13.
Yeah, that could be. Okay, just go ahead and name them.
Well, Rudy Huber says S&K rigging fast pitch team. Front, Ringo, question mark,
We think it's Kerner.
Richard Kidwell, question mark, Rocky
John-
Reimer,
John Hole.
question mark. Yeah, John, back, question mark, Dale Doring,
Yep.
Oh, Dale
Cornell.
Doring.
Who?
Dave-
Who's- Go backwards. Dale Dorian. Who was the next one?
John Cornell, Dave Brown, Steve Leonard, Al Boris. Pat Ingram says Dan Stacy, second from left in the front row.
Now
Question.
go to that back row again. I think you got. Dale Dorian we got. Who's the next guy supposed to be? And slow it down a little bit. Dale Dorian.
Okay, back row. First one is question mark, Dale Doring, question mark, John Cornell, Dave Brown.
Well,
See, I think John Cornell's 13.
Okay,
I could.
yeah, John Cornell is 13.
And then Dave Brown's the next one.
Steve Leonard and Al Boris.
So Steve
Steve
Leonard's
Leonard.
18.
Mhm.
I didn't recognize him with the mustache. Steve could hit a baseball and a softball about as far as anybody in the history.
I'll tell you what, Ox Brown was a big man.
Fox Brown was a big.
He was.
Last time we saw Dave's leaving town waving from the back of a train. But 13 is Cornell. 10's the unknown one.
Okay,
Well, this is the Freddie Moody's. Back then it was Craig Chapman.
Oh, that's Mrs. Grady. Second one from the end is, and from the right is Mrs. Grady.
Mhm.
Then
Elsie Grady.
Elsie Grady and Mrs. Jones. That's Lim Jones's wife. Arthur
Clara.
Jones' mother on the right.
On the
Clara
right.
Jones.
now Deb Ray says this is Save More.
And I think it is.
Let me look. Yeah,
I think it is because that's where
Downtown.
Mrs. Grady worked.
that's when they were downtown.
Yeah, Mrs. Grady worked.
Okay, that's when they were downtown. I forgot their old downtown. Who are the 4?
I don't have all the names. All I have is Elsie Crady and Clara Jones.
Yeah. Elsie had a daughter, Debbie, that was in Bill's class, or no, 1 year behind you,
She was in our class.
Debbie Crady.
Yeah.
Don't know who 20 is. Looks like another baseball player.
God, it almost looks like Rocky Reimer.
It looks like Rock, doesn't it?
Well, he would have been in that other picture.
Right.
And according to Rudy, that would be Rocky Reimer.
Well,
Now,
good guess.
so I'll go back to the other picture. Did we see Rocky in it?
Yeah,
Where
It
we
was,
didn't name Rocky.
second from the left on the bottom row.
Second, we got him second from right. Okay. Who's the
Second
guy?
from right. Yeah, second from right. I meant.
That's Rocky.
Yeah, it is.
I coached him in Babe Ruth baseball. He was a good athlete. Oh, there we go. Cam video. This is Evil Knievel going to jump a propane tank out in North Atwood.
I don't have a name on this one.
Well, that's actually Larry Knievel, Evil's brother.
This was the less successful Buddy Knievel.
Yeah, he tried to jump a propane tank and didn't make it.
Look.
Then that's two young guys with cows.
One of them, they might both be Eastons. I don't know.
They may not be Tuscola. You know, a lot of times they'll be county
That's
people
true.
with 4-H
Who
pictures.
knows?
So I got several pictures of
Cows.
guys with cows, and I don't have any names on
No,
them.
I don't know a lot about cows.
Usually when I don't have names, it's because they're not Tuscola. But they're cool pictures, and they were in with the other negatives. So I'm not sure.
Well, if we see a cow, we know we'll yell it out.
Okay. Well, I know you probably
There's
use some
that
of
looks
these
like
cows.
Bessie's half brother right there. Oh, here we go. This is when Wild Bill Heacock came to town.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Old-fashioned days.
Good picture of the hotel.
Yeah, that's why I stuck it in there. Had a good picture of the Hotel Douglas in the back.
I will tell you this, as a person in charge of the Old-Fashioned Day Parade for a couple of years in the 70s, we learned to always try and put the horses near the back of the parade. You could learn.
See what that says, Barb's something.
If you put the horses in the front of the parade and you have a marching band come through, they're not in formation all the time.
No,
They're dodging.
they're dodging it.
They're dodging the road apples.
Another stop the dam picture. Don't have names.
We were protesting outside ourselves. We were out there.
You know what? That involved Villa Grove too, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Villa Grove all the way to Charleston.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to dam up. They were going to stop the flooding in Villa Grove, weren't they? Wasn't that one of the goals?
That might have been one of the goals.
Stop the flooding in Villa Grove. Bill McCarty, there's the Patty Waters, Dick Parker, and Amos. There's four aces right there.
4 aces right here.
That's backbone of Tuscola back in the 70s. Every town needs patrons like this to keep it together. Dick was longtime treasurer. Amos was in everything. Boy Scouts, anything civic, he was in. Patty raised a family by herself and ran a business. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
You ever seen her in a bad mood or ever said?
No, I didn't.
Always in a good mood, always cheerful. Love Tuscola.
Very sweet lady.
Very sweet.
I did not know her well, but I can tell you she was always very kind to me.
She's kind to everybody.
Mhm.
She's I think she's at Carriage Crossing in Arcola now. And
She went through the tragedy of having her husband Corky die young, and she bears her cross very well. Bill's go backwards and look at Bill's tie for a second, and oh boy. I had a tie like that and a shirt, and I gave it to Englehart to wear as a principal. He never did. Look at those ties.
Yeah,
Today, those would be wallpaper in Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
Of course, when I was starting out the paper, Dick ran Gamble's downtown.
Yes,
Wallpaper may help you, man.
He was, of course, he was he was older by then, and I went to him and said, you need to run some advertisements. And his response was, I really don't want any customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just for my friends to come in and we sit and chat.
He had an unusual business model. He always said he lost money on every sale, but made up for it with volume.
Now you're using your Jim Higgins quote.
Maggie Parker's husband.
Maggie's husband. Now here we go, Bill.
Now this is a good one here.
Here's two of our favorite people.
Right there in the front. That's Mitchell and Adeline Cohen. And couldn't ask for two better folks. Mitch, if that shoe didn't fit, he'd make it fit.
Yeah,
He'd push that shoe.
I take a 12D.
Yeah.
That's only 9. I stretch it for you. I stretch it for you. Mitch never passed up a sale
Oh.
at that big.
Wonderful people.
And Bill and I will always remember Adeline sticking her head down the pool hall
Oh,
going,
yeah.
Gary, Alvin, get up here. Your dad needs you.
Help your father.
They ran the
Wonderful people.
wonderful people. And as far as I know, they assimilated well in Tuscola, and everybody liked good old Mitch and Adeline.
Yeah.
And there's Warren Smith again.
Is that Warren or John?
John, excuse me. And I don't know if that's John's first wife or who that is.
Might be.
Well, that's the Mr. Marler, second from left.
Mayor of Tuscola.
Alan Mishner says third lady from the right is Mrs. Lamb, his third grade teacher.
Mm-hmm. They all look like teachers that spanked me.
Yeah, if they didn't, they should have.
Well, a couple of them got it done. There we go. There's Greg Hastings on the upper right, I think.
Yeah.
And there's Gossett and Burke. And down low is looks like Peanut. It looks like Lindsay, Termite Lindsay. And I don't know who's next to him.
God, he looks familiar.
Rudy Huber says Greg Lindsay and Steve Leonard.
Stevie Leonard. Okay, we didn't get Steve.
Then Bill Burrs, Ken Burke, Tom Gossett, and
Yeah.
Gossett and Chop Hastings.
This is track.
Yeah.
Chop, I think, was a half miler. Burke was long distance. I don't know what Gossett Tom did.
Now, Jan Hastings says Greg believes that's Dave Halleck, bottom right.
Dave, what?
Halleck. It said he was a sophomore in this picture and he moved before his junior year.
We didn't know the bottom right. We didn't know, so it's
Right,
either
so that
Steve-
may be
whoever they
Dave
say.
Halleck.
Well, yeah, we don't know a Dave Hallett.
So, and that's according to Chop, who's in the picture. So
We call
He
him,
would know.
we say Termite Lindsay, we mean Greg.
Yeah.
We're using nicknames here. There's John Waters on the right. I think.
This must be Scholastic Bowl.
Is this Janet Brody, second from left?
Can't tell.
No, probably not.
I can't get them.
Okay, according to Marcy Shoemaker, Jerry Ann Lake, Barb Kellogg, Dennis Ryan, Gary Lake, John Waters, Kathy Maddox, and Cindy Bateman.
These are the brainiacs. Bill and I we didn't quite make the Scholastic Bowl, did we?
No, I didn't try out. I missed the tryout.
Yeah, I did. I was sick that day.
Yeah. Dennis Ryan?
Well, I didn't know Dennis was a brainiac.
Yeah.
She probably knows. It's her era.
Gary Lake, I understand, but
It doesn't look like Dennis.
Kathy Maddox, yeah, Kathy Rhodes.
Yeah, Bateman was a brain.
So I'm reading the comments.
Anybody else guess him?
No, there are a lot of comments on it, but those look like the names. Look like Marcy had a couple of them wrong, but went back in and corrected them based on other people's comments. So,
Well, the Ryan guy we didn't
Oh, me.
don't recognize. Okay, there you go. Now, Bill, there's one. Do you know the one I know? Do you know? There's W.A.
W.A. Mozart.
You know,
I
who's
recognize WA and I recognize the woman behind him.
you know who the guy is next to W.A.
He looks familiar, but I can't.
High school principal back in the late 50s, early 60s, Reeve Norton.
Oh, that's right. He was the principal, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He was just 1 year or what?
1 or 2 years. I just think the stress, I think it was just too much. He went out to
He went
USI.
out to the plant.
He had 2 kids. Nancy was my class. She was a
And
brainiac.
Harold was
She-
67.
She and Joe Caldwell were salutatorians. She's teaching Chinese linguistics or something out at Princeton. And how,
That's Mrs. Albritton in the back.
well, I think
Carol McCarty.
starting from the left looks like Wetzel,
Yeah.
married Monk Hackett,
Yeah,
Montel Hackett, Mrs. Wetzel.
that's
Looks like Mr.
Phyllis's
Vernon,
mother.
looks like Vernon Wright. I don't know who the third one is.
I
Fourth
don't
one's
think that's Vern. I think that's some minister.
okay. I think the fourth one is Mrs. Albritton, Carol McCarty. We can't see the person on the right over here. Can you slide it? Your right, our left.
Yeah,
Elvis's uncle.
don't know.
What are the names on this one?
Well, let me see the comments here. Of course, Carol McCarty in the back. Nancy Harsh says Nancy Ellis in the middle. WA sitting on the right. Carol Zane says Dean and Sharon Waycase front far right.
Waycasers.
Oh, she taught down at Paris Crestwood.
Yeah.
Dean Waycase. Yeah, I remember them.
Do you agree this is Margaret Hackett?
Yeah.
Michael Forney says Carol Zane, my first grade teacher. Lori Mooney says Sharon Waycaser, Reverend McConkey.
Oh, that's the Reverend.
See, I told you it was a rep.
Yeah, you're right. That's the Reverend McConkey Methodist Church. Reverend McConkey spoke at baccalaureate my senior year without notes. And he recited Edward Markham's Man with a Hoe poem. Took about 10 minutes. Did it verbatim. Brilliant man.
Alan Michener says Reeve Norton, Kay Lake, Gene Albritton.
Yeah, this kid, Reeve Norton, he's right. And right behind Reeve Norton, I thought it was Kay Lake, but I wasn't sure.
We need to get Alan Michener.
Michener knows all of them. Yeah.
Michener needs to come on the show. Along with Bob Taylor.
Yeah. You and I need to retire one.
And we need to
You're
retire.
a lot younger. I think Michener may be 2 months younger than me.
Yeah, we've tried to get Bob on. I don't
Well,
have these, but these are just some fun pictures from Halloween.
Yeah.
South Ward or North.
These are
Ward.
exchange students from Japan. Okay. There we go.
That big guy looks very familiar. That's probably down at Walnut Point. That's oh man. The short guy. He's the supervisor at the you have a name on that?
I don't have any names.
God damn it. Oh,
Where's the supervisor at?
Walnut Point.
Says state of Illinois at the top.
Well, that's
I'm
I
pulling
can't
my
read the rest of it.
son married seems like he married one of the Idaho girls. I don't know.
More Halloween pictures.
what's in the background there. That's the old Tuscola lumber by the South Ward.
Oh, this picture is flipped.
Yeah, that's Tuscola lumber. You're right. Tuscola lumber was facing the other way. It's facing west.
Yeah, I should have caught that.
That's the old.
Hard to tell.
They
which
played
way
football.
they
They played football right up there on that field back in the 20s and 30s.
Halloween parade.
That may be looking over at Bill. Is that where you live, right across there?
I think this must be South Ward.
It's South Ward.
It is South Ward, yeah, that is, because I can see that top window up
You can
there.
see a house on the right. You're
That's
left.
Maxine Stevens' house.
And Bill and Andrea, after they got married, lived upstairs there. We'd go see him. You had to walk up an outside stairs, so we never went in the winter because of snow and ice.
Yeah, I fell down those stairs one time.
Yeah, that's where Bill and Andrea probably had their happiest days, other than living upstairs with his parents.
Yeah, that was real happy too.
Well, there's Mrs.
That's Mrs. Bozart.
Mrs. Bozart, Edith Bozart, second from right. And all the way down the end of the table that Ruby Mata? You
Those
blow
are
it-
the only name I had on this one.
Blow that up a little bit for the lady at the end of the table. Right there. No, I don't know. I don't think it's Ruby Mata.
Olahai. That guy's name is Olahai.
Oh, Gary Olahai's dad?
Was it Gary?
Well, the Olahai short.
Brian Olahai's
Brian Olahai.
grandpa.
Okay.
Brian graduated, I forget when.
Well, his son,
Early
his
80s.
son,
Which one you talking about, Bill? On the left there?
No,
back to the Walnut Point,
Oh,
I knew I'd get it. Olahai.
right there.
He married, didn't he marry Ingram's?
He married
sister?
Roger Ingram's
What was her
older
name?
sister. She was a year or two older
Yeah.
than Roger, and they bought the Forrester house where Harry Forrester lived, that brick house on
On
Stell
Buckner?
Street, and fixed it up.
Or Barker.
Barker and fixed it up. Gary Olahai.
Was it Gary?
I think Gary Olahai was his son.
Yeah, it was
Mary,
his son.
Mary Ingram.
That's his name. It's
I
Olahai.
think he married Mary Ingram.
Yep. Hmm.
Well,
Women used to wear hats.
yeah, I don't have any names on this one.
No.
Hugo Methodist Church.
Hmm. No,
I don't have names on this one either.
I don't doubt that.
Oh, we knew all these. David, are these all your cousins?
Well, not that I know of.
No.
Any names?
Rebecca Martin says, Michelle Martin Franklin, is this you? Brenda French says, Barbie Weaver Foster is far right standing, Diane Meeker next to her.
Wow.
Those are the only names I have on that one.
That was a little stretch for Bill and I.
That's Mrs. Hole in the back left.
I thought upper left. I'm going to disagree. I think that's Emma Wakefield,
You're right.
my second grade
Yeah,
teacher.
you are.
My
She was
second
my
grade-
second grade teacher.
Emma Wakefield.
This is retired teachers. You know what? That lady on the bottom left,
That Bess,
She taught
Bess
it.
Bundy.
no, she taught at Arcola.
So you're saying that's not Mabel Holt? Because that's what it looks
No,
like to me.
No, I think that's Emma Wakefield.
It looks like Emma Wakefield.
Okay, because Linda Marie thought that was Mabel Holt also.
Yeah, well, just sitting back here with these strange glasses on.
I had to loan Bill some cheaters. Emma Wakefield lived right across the street.
From the new development.
Well, no, Emma lived down by the old North Ward that they tore down where Quentin Weber built those houses.
But right now she's next to
So that's
there,
right. She moved.
and she moved there.
Yeah.
That's where
But her
This is
original,
Lutheran Church. Jane Mason Jones says her grandmother, Louise Bundy, front row, far left.
I said Bess Bundy.
Okay.
Boy, that doesn't look like
That's what-
Bess Bundy.
Boy, that's the look Bess Bundy gave me in the third grade right there.
You know what? Now I see her face. That's it. But her hair was darker.
Well, it's different. So
back
there's
then.
Emma Wakefield. These are North Wards.
Teachers.
This is the old. This is the one they tore down.
I want to tell you, Bess Bundy, by the time you got out of third grade, you knew your multiplication.
So Emma Wakefield was second. Bess Bundy was third. My fourth grade was Roderick. My first grade teacher was Hannah Bell Prescott.
Mhm.
I'm trying to see if these other teachers.
Phyllis Daniel says, Deborah Bricker Lehman, I think that's your mom, Marlene, back row, left side.
That'd be you're right. What was the name? What was it?
Marlene. And Deborah Bricker Lehman says, yes, it is.
What was her name?
All I have is Marlene.
That Mrs. Hauser.
I don't think it is. Initially I looked and I thought that. I do see Bess Bundy's face now. Maybe
Well,
she did stare at you,
Oh
didn't
my God. I felt like I was 2 inches tall.
she? But her hair was dark.
I never pleased any of my teachers. There's more of them.
Now I want to tell you, buddy, those all teachers, they knew their stuff
Oh,
back in
man,
those days.
they were dedicated.
Yeah, I don't have any names on this one. Could have been county if they're retired teachers. Could be
But
county.
it's called repeat, repeat, repeat. Do it again and again and again until you got it in your head.
Bill and I can still do all math equations in our head.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays, if they don't have a computer, they can't add two and two. This, we know all of them, we just have forgotten their names.
I don't have any names on this one.
I don't either. I don't have a clue. Well, let's see if they get a little older, maybe we.
That looks like Tuscola Scout Building. They all look like cherubs to me.
Got any names?
Danny Matthews says Marsha Wilson, second from right, back row. And Tammy Reynolds Bozer says Susan Bechtel Hall, is that you in the front? Penny Campbell beside you, and Heidi Meyer in back.
Well, Heidi Meyer would be third from the left, or
Right.
third from right on you.
No, I'm looking at it same way you are.
Okay, well, she's third from the left, second
Yeah.
row. Who was on the first row now? Bechtel was the third one in.
Let's see.
Susan Hall, Susan Bechtel.
Susan Bechtel Hall, is that you in the front? It says, didn't say where.
Who else is next to her?
Penny Campbell beside you and Heidi Meyer in the back. Tammy Reynolds Boser says yes for sure. Susan Bechtel Hall says yes, that is me.
Wow. Wow.
A lot of people tagged.
Hmm.
Dean Rogers says yes, that's me to the right of Heidi.
To the right is Deanna.
And front row, third from right, according to Susan Bechtel Hall, is Penny Campbell.
Well, see, he's coming in from the right again.
I'm just reading the comments.
Okay.
Julie Jacobs, third from right, bottom row. Kim Judson says, Mary Hilgendorf, is that you? Second from right in front row. Kim says, yes, it is. Or Gail says, yes, it is. Gail O'Loughlin. And Marilyn Moody says, isn't that Darla Stroll next to Mary Wineland? So
Well,
I don't
yeah.
have a lot of comments, but
Wow.
some uncertainties.
We might have been gone during that period of time.
Heidi, is that the one they called Turtle?
Well, who's Bill? Bill Carson's is Heidi. No, that Heidi's Bill had a house on the house walk just a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
On East Sale Street. Heidi's got a
Turtle lives out here on
Turtle's out here at the golf course at the
Okay.
Pardon? Megan? I thought his birth name was Turtle. Oh,
Turtle was my swimming instructor.
there we go. We got these. On the left looks like a Wilhelm, but I don't know. Wow.
Okay, I got several comments. Martha Rose says, Anita Wilhelm, Pam Harding,
Got one.
You got one.
Carolyn Dunlevy, and Christy Stewart.
Oh, Christy Stewart, that's Diane and Tom's daughter.
I go to sleep tonight. I got one of them.
You're on top of it, buddy.
I'm on top of it, buddy.
Dunleavy's went to the Presbyterian Church.
Did they ever see you there? Do you have any photos, maybe?
I don't have any names on this one.
Good. Oh, that looks like Gayla Grubb on the left.
On the left.
Gayla Grubb on the left. On the far right is Margaret Wessel Hackett.
And this is Mrs. Ross.
Yeah. Third from the
Yeah.
left is Mrs. Ross. Yeah. And on the back row, that looks like that. Come on.
Mary Ross.
We know this one back here.
Well, I don't because it's smeared. Not my.
The glasses are smeared.
Nah.
Becky, you gave him smeared glasses.
Well, it's all right.
Gayla Grubb Ross.
Pretty girl. Pretty
girl.
woman. Yeah, Mary Ross.
Oh, that's Mary Kay Helmar on the right.
Yes, it is.
And fourth one down is Mildred Grubb
Yep.
with her hand against her mouth.
I would not have recognized Mary Kay.
Well, she looks the same except her hair is a little lighter.
Hair's a little lighter, yeah. Mary Kay would tell you.
This is 50 years ago, David.
Mm-hmm.
Even Bill and I have changed just a tad.
Just a little, not much.
Mildred Grubb, wonderful woman.
Yeah.
Secretary of the high school for all those years.
All those years.
I would walk in at 8:35, go down the office, and she'd have a
Pass made out.
pass made out for me being late for Joe Meyer's physics class. Can you imagine walking in physics late? Okay.
Let me see.
The picture's not clear on this one.
No, it's smeared.
Some of the negatives are a little thin.
It looks like I can't guess the coach there.
Smokes.
Looks like Upper Row Waters. There's
This is Harry Connor on the far right.
can't see him. And then
I think.
there's Greg Hastings. There's Dietrich,
Dietrich.
blank, Gossett, Waters. Not sure.
Is that Flash?
Bottom row.
It looks like Flash.
Not sure. Larry Ring's third one in. You slide it a little bit.
Jeez. It's a good picture. It's just
Harry was a good baseball guy.
Oh yeah, Harry's a great coach.
Blow it up a little bit.
Hubba.
Hubba. I'm trying to. So we got Harry, Chop, Dietrich. I don't know the next one. Not sure.
You've probably got the names on this one.
There's
I've
Gossett.
got a few names.
There's Gossett, and there's Waters.
Oh, and this is
Pleiss, Carlos.
that's Carlos, I think.
Mark Pleiss, Carlos next to Larry Ring on the first row. That could be Flash.
That might be the kid with the glasses on the far left might be one of the horns.
Okay, here are the names that Jan Hastings has. She doesn't have all the ones you have. She says back row, Gary Hinby, Andy Ron, Tom Gossett, question mark, Ronnie Jones, Doug Dietrich, Greg Hastings, Coach Harry Connor, front row, Steve Jacobs, Mark Kleiss, Kenny Burke, question mark, Tom Inslee, Coach question mark.
Well, yeah, that is Mark. That is Jacobs. I coached him.
Steve Jacobs?
Steve Jacobs, yeah. Good little athlete. And that is Burke now that we see him. I call him Larry Ring, but that's Burke. I goofed on that one. Who did she say on the top row?
Carlos, so.
She said Hinby.
Gary Hinby, Andy Ron,
Now, wait a minute. And then Gossett.
Tom Gossett, then a question mark.
That's not the Gary Hinby. That's not the young Gary Hinby. That must be his dad.
I don't know. Then she's got Ronnie Jones, Doug Dietrich, Greg Hastings.
Wasn't Hinby's dad blown up out at
He was killed in a accident, in
Yeah.
a tanker.
tanker blew up with.
Lowell Hinby. Lowell Hinby was his name.
So that's Gary? It doesn't look like Gary Hinby.
Well, that's according to Jan Hastings.
And that's Andy Ron. It could be Andy. Wow, we didn't get all. Oh, there's
Looks like Claude Hawkins.
Yep. Who's the flat top?
Well, I don't recognize the flat top.
I don't have
Right.
any names.
Claude Hawkins. Oh, God.
Looks like
Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson and Chaplin. That's Ronnie Chaplin in the middle. Charlie Wilson. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
Ronnie Chaplin. Coach him in
What
baseball.
a picture.
They were laid back and easy going.
Oh, man.
Who's the guy on the left?
Well, that's a Coverstone. That's
Ronnie?
Bill Coverstone's brother.
Ronnie?
I don't know what, Bob Coverstone.
Is that Ronnie Chaplin in the middle?
That's Ronnie.
That's our sheriff's uncle.
That's Ronnie, but Charlie Wilson. Oh, my God.
Charlie Wilson was a character. He had an older brother from Miller Grove that was even more of a character.
Gary.
Charlie Wilson was famous, played for Bill Burroughs. Charlie could jump 50 feet in the air. He would drive the court for a layup, and he'd dribble off his knee as he went up for the layup. He just was one bubble off.
I recognize the next one.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
There
boy.
you are. Jimmy Clyce is getting his due.
Yeah.
The old bear.
Gene Murray's going, this is the smallest damn shoe I got. If you don't fit in it, stuff it with some newspaper. And then, of course, above him is a politically incorrect
Warrior drawing. I wonder who did that one.
Well, I don't know.
Roger Chaplin might.
Roger Chaplin could have done it.
Oh, me.
Jimmy was a sprinter, 100-yard dash man.
What a great picture.
What a great picture. Jim hadn't changed at all.
No, he sure hasn't.
Okay, on the right is Oaks. That's Rita Duensing in the middle and Dennis Hanner on the left. Dennis Hanner.
That's Bill Irwin on the right.
Excuse me. Dennis Hanner on the left, Rita Duensing, and you're right, Billy Irwin.
Mm-hmm.
So is this the old First Christian Church?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, out on the North Line Road.
Yeah, so this is the church I grew up in.
This picture is probably what? Rita was what, 70?
Somewhere in there.
Nola, her sister, was in my class, and of course her dad was the famous Dew singer.
Francis
Dusinger ran Standard Station. I worked for him when I was going to college. I worked on weekends there. Great guy. Bill would stop by. We'd drink Yoo-Hoo, chocolate Yoo-Hoo, and we'd talk about women.
And you got the other name, right?
More specifically, we talked about women problems.
Women.
You got the other guy's name?
Billy Irwin.
Billy Irwin.
I got it wrong.
Joy Face says Jim Irwin.
Well, it could be Jim.
Could be. I didn't know Bill had a brother.
Artie Irwin was in the family too.
Yeah.
So
Any more? Oh, there we go. We got all of them. That's Jimmy Clyce and his running mate, Tommy Harris.
Oh, Connor.
Bob Connor.
I know the woman. I can't think of her name.
Janice Moody says, I see Rick Wellborn in the background.
Yeah, he's right to the edge of Hop Connor.
Yeah.
Is Ricky Wellborn. And that's a Tingley right next to Tom Harris, I think. I was state's attorney, and Tom Harris was Tuscola police chief, and he came in one day and he left an angry note on my desk. I was up in court and I came down and the note said, I am sick and tired of people passing school buses. I want you to crack down. I want these people to pay top fine or go to jail. I'm sick of it. And so about an hour later, Tom walks into my office and said, did you see a note here from me? I said, yeah. He said, have you read it yet? I said, yeah. He said, any chance I can get it back? I said, no. I go, why, Tom? And about then, Jimmy Clyce walks in going, hey, I didn't see the lights. It was his best friend is the one who passed the school bus. And I said, Tommy, I'm going to nail this guy. I'm going to throw the book at this guy. And Tom was red as a beet. So the guy he cracked down on was his best friend, Jimmy Glass.
Did you throw the book at him?
No, I never threw the book at anybody.
I don't have any names, but the calendar says Tuscola National Bank.
Well, there's a blast furnace up there. That's
The old Modine heater.
that's got to be in a basement, I would think. And I don't think did they have it in the basement of the TNB?
Not that I'm aware
I'm
of.
not either. It was
It's
finished.
more like a church basement.
I just think that calendar is just one of free calendars. Yeah, that looks like a church basement. Oh, there we go. Dave Brown and Steve Leonard.
We won the discus events that year.
Steve had the record for a long time. Steve was a great athlete. He's a great basketball player. Probably hit a softball. Larry Ring tells me he hit a softball as far as anybody's ever seen. And was a great discus thrower.
Yeah.
Good old Dave Brown.
No caller.
Two good boys.
Two good boys.
They're both gone.
Poor Steve died. Steve died young.
Oh, hey.
Well, that looks like
I don't have any names on this one.
what's it even? Is that Tuscola?
I don't know. Who knows? This could be more of that stop the dam stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, they were there to answer questions.
Looks like it's on a boat.
Yeah, they were taking a tour of Shelbyville, so it's like, and that is
No.
Bernie and Kathy Rhodes, that's Teresa Meeker.
Who?
Teresa Meeker.
Oh,
it looks like her.
Marcia Knox says yes. I've always said that one of the great things about small town newspapers, if you grow a big potato in your backyard, you can get your picture in the newspaper.
If you got a great
There-
goober, you're going to be front page.
There you go. There's a big potato.
Grabbing the goober. Well,
this is more of that damn stuff.
that damn stuff.
Another one that, yeah, I don't have any names on.
Stop that damn. There's Herc Manwaring.
Herc Manwaring, Maggie Parker, and Mrs. Manwaring.
Yeah.
Boy, Herc worked at the post office
Yes, he
for
did.
years, and he loved to come down and shoot snooker against Pete Quinn.
Yes, he did. They're tearing Pete Quinn's house apart. You see that?
I saw that.
They gutted that thing on Nile Street.
Yeah, old Herc.
Oh, Herc just lived right around 2 houses away. Didn't he?
And no, actually, he lived down on Buckner, I believe, in the end,
Well, didn't he live right next to Warren Smith there for a while? That house right one end
possibly.
later on. I think he was Pete's neighbor.
He and Pete were.
They were a pair.
They were a pair. Every noon there.
Pete would be smoking a cigar down there. I can't believe Jake lets you smoke. Now we're in a pool hall with rough customers, and Jake had a big sign on the wall, no cussing.
No cussing.
I thought, you got to be kidding me.
We got the sign.
We kept the sign.
We kept the sign.
and
We
that's-
got signs from the pool hall.
no cussing in the pool hall is like trying to flag down the super chief with a matchstick.
Yeah. My wife wanted to throw away those signs. I couldn't believe it.
Because Wes Gould and Chuck Turnell are going to cuss.
Mhm.
Those are the only English words they knew.
And my classmate Jessica McCartney Hall says that's our grandpa Harold Herc Manwaring and grandma Nellie Pfeiffer Manwaring standing in the middle
Who said that?
at their home,
Who did you say
Which-
said that?
Granddaughter.
705 East Buckner.
What was yeah, that's what Bill said. What was the who said that? Who's the granddaughter?
Jessica McCartney Hall, my classmate.
Jessica played basketball for me. Good rebounder.
You were
And
block out.
Bless you,
Looks like
back.
Maggie was doing an interview. Looks like a tape recorder
Yeah,
there.
Maggie
I
did,
thought he was retiring.
Maggie did some part-time work for the paper. Yeah, it probably was his retirement.
We'll have to dig out, hey, go to the archives and dig that up.
That looks like upper left, looks like Billy Weber, Burke, Tom Gossett, Termite Lindsay,
Yeah,
bottom row,
Eaton,
Steve Mick, and who's number 61?
it's that kid that moved,
It's that kid that moved.
Huckler or something.
That was his nickname, kid that moved.
I don't remember, I remember,
Billy or Bobby
Something.
Weber? Bobby or Billy? Which one was that one?
Jan's Hastings says it's Kim Smith.
Well, how about the rest of them? We get the rest of them right?
Yeah, you got the rest of them, it looks like.
thank you.
We didn't have first names for everybody, so I'll read back row: Bill Weber,
Randy
Kim Burke,
Eaton.
Tom Gossett, Greg Lindsay, Kneeling, Randy Eaton, Steve Mick, Kim Smith.
Kim Smith. Okay, we didn't get Kim Smith. We got a B+ on that one.
Well, I hope it's
Give you an
an
A. Give you an A minus.
About time.
We'll grade on a curve.
Well, there is, looks like Hardwick. Second from the left is
Oh, it is. That's Rick Hardwick.
the youngest Hardwick. And then it looks like Gary Henby. Fourth one in the middle.
I don't know that.
And
boy.
one on the right, I don't know, the girl or the guy. I don't know who Rick's with.
We're in Tom McGuire, Doug Eveland.
That's Doug Eveland
It's
on the
one of
right.
Evelyn's.
Okay.
I was gonna say Evelyn, but
Did Tom have the rest of them?
Well, no, Kathy Rhodes says Nancy Wenskunas
Winskunas.
That's Bill Bukovich's adopted daughter.
with Gary, it
And that's
says.
the other one. That's the other Winskunas.
Oh, that's Nancy Winskunas. She was married to Dave Dellner.
There's the two sisters.
I thought she looked familiar.
So once again, left to right, that's who?
I don't have all the girls' names.
Okay,
Okay, we got Hardwick, Winskunas, Henby, Evelyn. Okay,
but that is Winskunas.
good enough. They're holding hands under the table there. That's
Well, that
romantic.
was illegal on top of the table.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Danny Matthews tagged Debbie Deem Steiner, so I don't know if that means anything. Jan Hastings says that's senior prom class of 71.
Rick was in a rock band back then. Rick had a rock band.
He still plays.
Does he
at the
still
ball.
play?
Yeah, I think he plays at the ball. Joe plays.
Of course, Bill and I knew his older brother Wayne. We shot a lot of pool with Wayne. Wayne also occasionally violated the no cussing rule.
You'll know this last one.
I hope.
Oh, that's Gene.
Well, that's Gene Waters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1976.
No. Well, that might have been when she was
That's
Miss
all right.
Illinois. Oh,
That's Bill Englehart.
yeah, Mike Carroll.
And
These glasses are giving me a headache.
yeah, well, Bill forgot his glasses, so I gave him these really nice. Look at these.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Soho. I'll bet you.
I just got bifocals myself a couple weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Most people have to get them in their 40s. And it's done now, Becky.
I would look good in this.
Aren't those full of crap?
Oh, God, these are smeared.
Yeah, look at them, honey.
Gee, many back.
Hold them up to the light, honey. Oh my God. So Becky gave Bill a pair of cheaters that have been dipped in tomato soup. Good God.
Hey, he kept saying all the pictures were blurry.
Well, but
That was with the other ones.
yeah.
This one here is blinded me.
Now you like these?
So we both got to go to the doctor.
You like these? You like these glasses on, David?
That was perfect.
Those are fine glasses, Mike.
Are these fine
These
glasses?
work well.
Those are
Bill,
fine.
What strength is
They're
this?
very studious.
48. 2.5. 2.5, not bad.
And these are twos, these are twos.
Oh, so they were not.
Oh, yes, no wonder I was straining.
What's wrong?
Well, usually I use 2.75.
Oh, I gave you twos. All you do is ask.
That's the only ones that were.
Bill's got an excuse. He only had, two
I
magnification.
think we did pretty well.
We got like 98%.
Oh, you're
Thanks,
done?
Beck. Yeah, we're finished.
Yeah, thanks for the glasses now that we're done. We've been here for an hour and a half
I know.
and Becky brings him in some.
You've been here 2 hours.
2
Two
hours.
and a half, 2.5.
Oh, yeah, and I'm.
Yeah. Been at least 2 hours, yeah.
Two and a half hours.
But who's counting?
I am.
Well, if you count the time we chatted before we started
For
recording,
Boyd,
it's
we had a
2.5
memorial for
hours.
Boyd. This was for Boyd,
Yep.
and time doesn't matter.
How did I not know those are smeared?
Well,
That shows you about my side.
David, once again, great job. Took a lot of work to get those.
Andy coming back.
Oh, my God.
Yep. I'll have to dig up some new ones for next week.
David, we get a kick out of it. And Bill next week will hopefully bring glasses he can see out of.
Those were a lot of people that we haven't had before in this group.
No, we were up in the 70s there.
Yeah.
And I was in the Army defending America there for 2 years, so I didn't know all those kids.
Yeah.
And Bill was driving for Bus Martin. And how many guys did you drive for? You drove for Decal, Bus Martin, name them all. Swingle,
Willis Jolly,
Willis Jolly,
Ron Smith.
Ron Smith. We got 5 people he drove a truck for. You would think he would know how to drive.
He still drives a truck.
By the way, we still got the truck's loaded. I loaded.
Oh, did you
the truck.
load my
We're ready to, yeah, we're ready to go.
If it weren't for Bill, I would have 40 trash bags outside. Bill fixed my
The
trash. bag.
city would shut him down.
David, I'm glad you're feeling better. You're totally over your COVID now?
I think so.
Okay.
Glad you're well and we enjoyed the program.
Same here. We'll see you next week on Remembering Tuscola.